Hey guys, welcome back to Tips and Tea with Linnea FNP. My name's Linnea Baker. I'm a board certified family nurse practitioner as well as a certified health and well-being coach. I've got my tea here in my Japanese mug that I got when I was traveling to Japan recently. And I'm really excited because today we're going to talk about something that's really personally transformed my own approach to health and wellness. And it's going to be the difference between Japanese lifestyle and American lifestyle and the incredible benefits that can come from just simple mindful changes. Okay. I studied Japanese martial arts growing up. So a lot of the mindfulness, and things in their culture with balance and movement and mindfulness have been something I've had since a very young age incorporated into my life from my father being my martial arts instructor, my sensei. But I learned so much, not only in just what I've studied over the years, but getting to travel there for 2 weeks and spend time there with my son who lives there. He's stationed there, active duty Army, and he's thriving. He's speaking a lot of Japanese and actually doing really well, immersing in the culture. I'm so proud of him. It made my mama heart full to get to be there with him and to get to really experience the culture of Japan and do that with my son. Because for many of you, you may not realize, but this tips and tea, um, the recordings, the videos, when I was doing them live for you guys, when I was able to do that. This all started when my son it was about 3.5 years ago, and we were in the Wounded Warrior Barracks with him with a stage 3 soft tissue cancer. So to get to do this, coming back from Japan after getting 2 whole weeks traveling around Japan with my son, who is thriving and doing great, just made my mama heart so happy. And I want to bring some of that back to you guys. Okay. So first we want to start with the Japanese lifestyle. Okay. And when we talk about that Japanese lifestyle, it's really often praised for its focus on balance and simplicity and mindfulness. Some of the things I was sharing with you from my martial arts experience. And we know that Japan is well known for their blue zones, which are those areas, and we've covered that here, but areas where people live longer, healthier lives. And in fact, Japan has one of the highest life expectancies in the world. And many of you may know that I was fortunate enough to get to live in Hawaii for 10 years and really get to be immersed in the culture there because I worked on all the islands and with all the different populations and cultures in cardiac electrophysiology. And I will say, I got to meet so many senior Japanese men and women. And they lived, I had clients, patients that lived well past 100 years. And the reason they were seeing me was they simply just needed a pacemaker to keep their heart from beating too slow. But other than that, they were living on their own. Cognitive mental clarity was still there. They were completely independent. They were absolutely amazing people with so much wisdom to share, and they were all very petite, very thin, which is another thing I always noticed. So when we talk about Japan food or Japanese food, Japan and Japanese view food as medicine, right? We've talked about that food really is medicine. And we have to look at what we're putting in our bodies as either helping our bodies heal and thrive or creating our chaos in our bodies, inflammation, and creating disease and hurting us. And the meals in Japan, they are nutrient dense, but they're simple. They focus on fresh vegetables, seafood, fermented foods like miso and pickled vegetables, as well as rice in moderate amounts. Um, and I will tell you, that's a lot of what I was eating there. When you get rice, their vegetables are delicious. I love pickled vegetables, and that's what they give you on your plates for the most part. The rice is not an overwhelming portion, but you're satisfied when you're done. The meats, the proteins are lean and clean and healthy. My son's not a big seafood person, but I am. And any of the seafood I ate was delicious there. And for those of you who know I already have 2 autoimmune diseases, I have to be really careful with what I eat typically. And I usually have to avoid those inflammatory foods like gluten, and dairy, and I definitely avoid the refined white sugars. Those are some of the main ones I don't do. I stay away from ultra processed foods. But in being in Japan, I really ate whatever I wanted to because the food was just so much healthier and cleaner than what we get in the United States. I even ate dessert, and it doesn't have that. It's hard to explain. I hope you guys, if you ever get to travel abroad anywhere overseas, when you travel, you notice the foods don't have that high sweet sugar content. It doesn't taste like your mouth is full of sugar, even when you have sweets. And because of that, I actually am wearing a continuous glucose monitor for my own personal research and knowledge. I do not have prediabetes or diabetes because of how I live my lifestyle, but I'm doing it for my own knowledge. And I will tell you, like, even going there to Starbucks, which is where I got my my mug. My son's a huge Starbucks person. But when you drink Starbucks over there, it's not full of the syrupy, sugary drinks. And when I was monitoring my blood sugar, I was not spiking huge spikes on my glucose monitor when I had a pumpkin spice latte with almond milk while I was there, or a matcha tea latte with almond milk. But when we went on the military base and I tried a Starbucks drink, it was hard for me to even choke down because it was like drinking just straight sugar and syrup. And I checked my blood monitor, glucose monitor, checking my blood sugars. And I mean, my blood sugars were through the roof and I didn't feel good. So just something as simple as that, because when you're on base, you're getting the American version. When you're off base, you're getting the Japanese version. The Japanese version was so much healthier and tasted so much better. And I felt better when I ate it. So just in me traveling there, I ate pretty much whatever I wanted and didn't have to worry because the food is so good and healthy and cooked from, Whole Foods. And then portion control is also a cultural habit there. So meals are designed to nourish you rather than fill you up. I will say I was very satisfied when I was eating. The portions were perfect. You don't feel bloated or gross when you're done. You don't feel like you have to clean your plate. Um, and it was very satisfying and filling. Now, hara hashibu, I hope I pronounced that right. That's a phrase in Japan that's actually means eat until you're 80% full. And so the Japanese don't overeat or eat until they're stuffed. They stop when they're satisfied, and that actually prevents overeating, and it's great for their long term health. And that's something that is different than here, right? And then the Japanese also are constantly walking and moving. They integrate movement into their daily lives, guys. So, walking, biking, and even traditional practices like gardening or walking to public transport are part of their daily routine. Exercise is actually part of their natural daily lives, rather than something that they only confine to a gym. And I will tell you, in the cities and even rural, but especially in the cities, everyone's walking everywhere. They're walking to the trains. Actually, in Japan, I was in Tokyo, and you will see, and people told me that live in Japan that I got to visit with, friends of my son's, that kids 6 years old and up are expected to go on and off the trains. They go in their little friend groups, and you'll see a little group of girls and a little group of guys, and they're traveling on and off the trains to and from school together without adults. And Japan is very safe. I felt very safe there. Everybody was very kind and supportive and helpful, I would say, even when I was trying to communicate what I wanted, because unfortunately I don't know Japanese like my son does. And that's something I need to work on. I wish I knew another language. So that needs to go on my vision board as a goal. But people are moving all the time. They're walking, they're bicycling. They don't just sit in their cars to go to from A to B. So you see a lot more people moving around, all ages, including the very elderly. They're very active and they have their mobility still, okay, and their health. So if we contrast that to the American lifestyle, we know we live in a fast-paced culture. Guys, I grew up in New York. There's a reason I live in Oklahoma, and Hawaii too was just a better pace of life in the United States. I go up to New York, New Jersey. I love seeing my family, but the pace of life up there, it's like your life is just flying by and you don't get to take a breath and enjoy the moment. And that's sad. And you don't realize it if you're living in it. You don't see that unless you get out and then come back. Um, but we live in this paced culture, and we lean on convenience that outweighs our mindful decisions. And especially when it comes to food and health, we're all about convenience and fast pace. So we know in America, fast food and conveniences are king, right? It trumps everything. We often rely on a highly processed, calorie dense, nutrient poor foods to feed our families because we're go, 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 go. Both parents are working, kids are in school, then they have sports late at night, they have homework, they have sports competitions, they have other activities and clubs they're in. And so we have sacrificed the traditional sitting at home, having dinner together, and cooking for what's quick, fast, and convenient. And that does not equal healthy. We're talking drive throughs, we're talking frozen meals, quick meals that are ultra processed that can be heated up, unhealthy snacks to grab and go. And they're full of sugar, unhealthy fats, lots of chemicals, and they leave us feeling sick and sluggish. And honestly, guys, we are the most overfed and undernourished country in the world. If you look around at the citizens in the United States, unfortunately, we are sick. We're getting sicker younger. Our children are getting sicker with asthma and allergies and food allergies and all kinds of learning disabilities. And obesity is affecting children as well as adults. You can see it when you look around. And people struggle just to walk because their joints are inflamed. And so, taking a hit from the weight and from the inflammation from all the toxins getting into our body. And the majority of that is from the food we eat. And it breaks my heart to see that. I don't want to see that for anyone. And I know people are not choosing that and they don't know what to do and they don't know what's causing it. They think it's because they're not disciplined or, the Western medicine says, eat less and move more, but it's the quality of the foods we eat. It's what we're doing for our gut health and gut microbiome that's actually going to make the biggest impact. Guys, also portion sizes in the US are so much larger. And there's even a cultural emphasis on finishing every bite. Like, I remember being younger, like you have to finish your plate. Um, I remember when my husband and I got married, and he would make, before we even got married, he would make dinner for me when I was at work as a nurse in a cardiology clinic. He'd have me come over for dinner. And I was so grateful, but he would put so much food on my plate. I'm like, can I just serve myself? Because I didn't want to waste the food, but I didn't like it's just too much food. Our plates are huge. The amount of food we put on it is ginormous, and we don't need all of that. And the food's not giving us the nutrients we need. So we're still hungry, but bloated and feeling sick and gaining weight. And really, these types of things lead to overweight and being overweight and weight gain. And then we also in America have become more sedentary, unfortunately, right? Especially with the type of jobs where we're sitting all day. We rely on cars. We limit the time. We have limited time available just trying to survive every day. I mean, the cost of everything's going up. Some people are having to work another side gig or part-time job now. Which if you're looking for a side gig, reach out to me, because it is important to be able to have a little extra nowadays with the cost of gas and the cost of groceries and the cost. My car insurance is through the roof for our family. Homeowners insurance is through the roof. My flood insurance like doubled since last year. It's all these things are adding and overwhelming people, and it's hard to live. And so we have that stress, and we're working more, and our jobs are more sedentary. So we have less time for movement. People are really struggling to fit in regular exercise. And when they do, it's often viewed as a chore rather than a daily part of their lives. And I don't fault you. Like, people are exhausted and don't have the motivation dealing with mental health issues and just no energy after go, go, go all day. And I will tell you that also comes down to gut health and what we're doing, what nutrition we're putting in our body. Because when you put the right nutrition in, that affects your mental health and your energy levels at a cellular level, guys. I've been doing the research for a long time. And that will help you kick into gear the motivation to want to go and move more and work out and not feel like you need to be a zombie in front of the TV afterwards because you're just so burned out from the day and you got to get up and do it all over again the next day. And guys, I've been there. And so I don't say this from a place of judgment. I'm doing this and educating people because I've been there. I got stuck in that rut. I had the hormone issues, the stress, the not sleeping, the gerbil wheel life. And when I made those changes, and it started with nutrition because you cannot out exercise your fork. And when I changed my nutrition, which again, I'm not a diet girl, I don't like to sacrifice and feel like I don't count calories. I don't like counting macros and calories and obsessing over stuff like that. What I did was easy and it focused on nourishing my gut health. Okay, guys. And that's why I'm here. And I'm so passionate about giving you the information to help you guys help yourselves and know the difference in how to get healthy. So, some really important things that often get overlooked, both in Japanese and American lifestyles, is the impact on our emotional and social health, right? So in Japan, there's actually a strong sense of community. That's so important, right? Have you guys heard me say community is the number one thing that affects our longevity? I talk about all these things, but it's actually been proven that having a strong social network and community is the number one thing that will impact your longevity. So people often eat together, they enjoy other community activities together, and they live in close knit social environments. Now, if you ask my husband, he wants to be off grid and isolated, but I'm a social butterfly. I love my people and my tribe and engaging. So, I mean, it's great to be off grid and be able to recharge and have some downtime. But I don't want to be isolated from the world like my husband does. So he can thank me for improving his longevity by making him be more social. But having these community type environments and social interactions gives people a sense of belonging. It gives them emotional support, and really, I told you, research shows that these social connections play a huge role in longevity and overall happiness. So, while work can be stressful in Japan, there's still a strong emphasis on maintaining harmony between work and life. So, in America, we often glorify the being busy and working long hours. I'm busy. I'm busy. It means, I've got so much going on. My life is so great because I'm go, 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 go. But that shouldn't be glorified. I mean, it's great to have all these great things going on, but it burns us out. We never get that downtime. Um, Many of us are feeling constantly stressed and don't prioritize time for rest, relaxation, and connecting with others because we feel guilty, especially as women. We feel like we always need to be, the wife, the mom, all of the hats that we wear, plus working, plus supporting the household, that we feel guilty when we take time for ourselves. And I will say, that one of the things I actually did well on, and this was from seeing my mom when I was growing up, she prioritized friendships with her dear, dear girlfriends. She had a handful of amazing women that she connected with on a regular basis. And I remember her going out and having dinner with them or playing cards or having a phone conversation or visiting with them. But these women played a huge role in my life, but they also shout out to Betsy and Peggy and Margaret. You guys know who you are. They had a huge impact, a positive impact in my life, and they were second moms to me. Um, and very nurturing, but they also gave my mom connection for her time to decompress and socialize, and it was huge for her. Now, in Japan, there's a huge after work culture where people gather after work for dinner and drinks together with their coworkers and with their boss. And I know this, I could see this in Japan. My son spoke to it too. But I saw this in Hawaii with the Japanese accounts that we worked with, different physicians we worked with that had a Japanese background. Definitely emphasis on gathering after work and socializing and breaking bread together, right? And having some drinks. That was definitely seen when I traveled there, but also I experienced it in my work culture in Hawaii. And then Japanese culture encourages mindfulness in daily life. So whether they're eating, walking, or even something as simple as making tea, that's in contrast to Americans, right? We're often caught up in that hustle culture. We're always racing from one thing to the next. We don't take a moment to breathe and just be present. Guys, I used to drive to work and not even realize how I got there. That's how not present and mindful I was. I was like zoned out, burned out, not paying attention. Scary, right? The other thing they do in Japan, I was blown away. So I grew up in New York, not New York City, but I've been in and out of the city, lots of major cities, right? And on the trains, I can be very loud. I'm a New York Italian. My son's like, you gotta lower your voice. You got no talking. Bring your AirPods because you put your AirPods on and you either listen to your phone or you're on your phone, listening with your AirPods or you're napping. And he said, there's no talking. There's no talking on your phone. There's no talking to each other. People are resting and relaxing on their way to work and on their way back from work, and oftentimes even taking a nap. And so I was in Tokyo and Kyoto and Osaka were some of the big cities I went to in Japan. And I was shocked at how peaceful it was at restaurants and on these subway trains because there wasn't all this noise. You could just relax. And it was nice. It was so nice to be able to just clear your mind and not have all the chatter and stuff going on around. It blew me away. So I really could value and appreciate that versus in America when I'm in these big cities, it's so noisy and honking and overwhelming and traffic and everybody's on their phones and it's just too much noise. So, guys, what are some of the real tangible benefits we can get from a Japanese lifestyle? Well, the results are amazing. Japan has one of the longest life expectancies in the world, with many people living well into their 90s and even past 100. And it's not about living longer, but they live healthier lives well into old age. And guys, I saw this. I saw people in their 80s and definitely 90s, senior citizens that were completely mobile, did not need any kind of walker, cane, or now some did, some would use a cane, but for the majority, obesity, you rarely saw obesity in Japan. Kids and adults, very healthy and slim, walking everywhere, bicycling everywhere, lots of community, but you would see people in their 80s and 90s on and off the trains and walking all over the place, doing laundry, going grocery shopping, eating out, wherever they were traveling to. In fact, there was a significant elderly population working even at the hotels we stayed in and very active doing the laundry, maybe doing housekeeping, whatever it was, serving. I was shocked to see how many older people were still actively working in the workforce. And doing it well. Like they didn't have, they weren't walking with limps and joint issues and different things. Because as a medical person, my brain, I'm always looking and observing because that's how my eyes are trained from all the years I've worked in medicine. And really healthy from everything I saw, very active, very healthy, great cognition and mental health when we were talking. So it blew my mind, and it's what we all want that, right? So we want to strive for that. Also, like I said, obesity rates in Japan are significantly lower than in the US. In fact, Japan is one of the lowest obesity rates among developed countries, and that correlates with lower rates of heart disease, diabetes, and high blood pressure. And I told you guys, I saw that everywhere. People were trim, healthy, active. Their skin looked good, their hair looked good. Obviously, I don't have their medical charts to see if they're taking medication or have diabetes, but from the outside, the data supports what I saw. And then with emphasis on community mindfulness and balance, that also leads to better mental health in Japan. So in Japan, there's less emphasis on the individualistic, high pressure, success at all cost mentality that we have in the US. And that leads to lower levels of anxiety and stress related illnesses. So now that I know we're not going to all move to Japan, Um, my son would like to live there forever. He would be very happy living there forever. My daughter's high school friend, I got to see her out there. Her mom is Japanese, and her father retired from the military, and they have moved out there, and she's stationed out there with her husband and her kids, and they love the lifestyle out there, and that's her culture. I mean, she was raised with that culture even in the United States because her mom is Japanese. um, and I'm planning on going back because I had so much fun. I want to take my daughter with me. I'd love to take my whole family with me, both my daughters, but sometimes it's hard for my older daughter to get off that long because unfortunately she's an adult and she has kids and has to do the adult thing, right? And I'm proud of her for that. But my mama heart would love to have all my kids out there. My younger daughter's finishing up college, so she has a little more flexibility when she's out of school. And so there are some simple changes, though, although we're not going to all move to Japan, which we can make to include in our lives that can have a big impact on our health. So, first, we can start by adopting a more mindful approach to eating. Guys, I used to be so bad at this, and I still have to work on this. My New York medical lifestyle was you don't have time to eat, you eat quick or you don't eat at all. And so this is a huge one for me. You have to slow down when you're eating, enjoy your food, and really try to practice the hara hashi bu, which is stopping when you're 80% full. That's a big one. We also, secondly, aim for fresh whole foods as much as possible. You want to incorporate more vegetables, lean proteins, and those fermented foods like miso or sauerkraut, which can support our gut health, right? Because we're getting fiber, which is a prebiotic to feed the good gut bacteria. And fermented foods like sauerkraut and miso have probiotics in them, which are good gut bacteria type foods. Guys, third, we want to find ways to add movement into our day. And we can do that without necessarily going to the gym, especially when we're trying to improve small daily habits. So, how do I do that? Park farther away. I'm willing to walk further. Take the stairs or take a short walk after meals. Even going for a walk on your lunch break can be helpful. Also, guys, the fourth one would be make time for friends and family. You want the emotional benefits of feeling connected because that really can have drastic improvement on your overall well being. Guys, I love my tribe. I have the best people in my life, and my heart is so full of joy when I get to spend time with them, whether it's talking, Zooming, traveling, getting to do something together. Lights me up. I just booked a concert for two of my dear friends in my tribe for us to go just have an amazing experience because I knew it was very important to one of my dear friends that and my friends and I all love a good concert, but I knew it was important and something that she really wanted to experience, and I was able to make that happen for the three of us. And I'm so looking forward to it. It's just that social connection, and it doesn't have to cost money. I enjoy time. I was just over my friend's house this weekend. We were making pizzas and doing a movie night. Like both our husbands and us, and it was so fun and it was so relaxing, and it doesn't have to cost a bunch of money. Doesn't have to be going out to eat, especially with the economy we're in now, right? Heck, guys, I love meeting my friends for a hike or going for a walk around the track. Just things like that make a huge difference with social connections. And then the fifth one is whether it's through, meditation or yoga or just taking a few deep breaths throughout the day, make mindfulness a part of your daily routine. Okay. So I want to leave you with this thought. Our health is in our hands, and it's often the small daily changes that make the biggest difference, guys. That's what I saw in myself. That's what I see in my clients. And by adopting just a few of these simple Japanese inspired habits, which are things that are part of healthy habits in general, you can see amazing improvement in your physical, emotional, and mental health. And that's really, truly what I want for each of you. So if this resonates with you guys, I'd love to chat more. Reach out to me for a free wellness consult, and let's work together to create a personalized plan that fits your lifestyle and your health goals. We all deserve to live a long, healthy, and fulfilling life, and it's never too late to start making positive changes, guys. Thank you so much. Until next time, stay safe, and I hope this brought you some value. Take care.